So, as we have seen, relationship is fundamentally about the fullness of Christ being formed in you. As we live that, we live love, being love. We are growing up in Jesus, who is the head in all things, in all ways, being conformed to his image and his stature, his character, his nature, his likeness. And as we do that, we set an example. We take a leadership role. Paul encourages us to note those who do this and to follow them. That is what submission is. We submit unto Jesus, unto truth, unto that example that is the fullness of Christ that is formed in others, and we follow that. That is what the authority is actually just truth. It's not men being greater than women or one person in the relationship being in charge and the other being the follower. It's about maturity. It's about the fullness of Christ. And we should also, in like manner, be submitting to Christ and others, whomever it is. That's why in Ephesians 5, Paul says, submitting one to another. Now, I mentioned on Monday that I would talk about why did Paul say in Ephesians 5 to the man to be the leader, to be the head. Remember, if you think about the head, one of the things about head, he's not saying be in charge. He's saying go first. I like to put it in, to think it in terms of if you had a column of soldiers that were marching. The one individual who is at the head of the line, that is the head of that column. He or she is the one that goes first, that is first exposed, but also is setting the example and leading, showing the way to go. Maybe giving orders and directions. That's not the point. The point is that person is the first one going in the direction that the whole group is supposed to be going. So when Paul says that the husband is the head, he says somebody has to go first, somebody needs to be the leader, and let it be you, the husband. Now, we remember that this isn't just about husbands and wives. These are relationship principles. In any relationship, there is the need for somebody to go first. Now, it's possible that both go first at the same time. So it's not really one going first. But each is endeavoring, let it be me. What can I do? What is my role? Not trying to blame the deficiencies or how I'm feeling or what's going on what the other person hasn't done or has done. Love takes no account of a suffered wrong and evil done unto it. In fact, it's patient and it's kind and it's gentle and it doesn't quit. It's not determined and shaped by what other people do or don't do. And this is a key principle in relationships. It's a key principle in the most intimate of relationships that depicts the eternal relationship in marriage, is that we be love, and love is not shaped, affected, impacted by what the other person does or doesn't do. We are impacted and we feel it. But how I'm doing is entirely dependent upon that fullness of Christ in me, my own maturity. I am yet unmoved in that situation when I've been treated wrong, as Peter says, to take it patiently. This is commendable and thankworthy. And that's in 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 19 and 20. He says this is what Jesus did, and we are to follow that example. Then Peter in chapter 3 addresses the wives first, and then the husbands. So why did Paul say to the husband and give more instruction in Ephesians 5? Well, I think that we find the answer in 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy in chapter 2. And we've referenced this a while back in another video talking. But one of the things that this is what the Apostle Paul says in 1 Timothy 2. And specifically we're going to look at verses 13 and 14. And Paul says, for Adam was formed first, then Eve. Paul is setting up a scenario here. Adam was formed first. Just in that very fact, he should go first. He, the man, in this case a husband, he should go first. This is why he talks to the husband about being the head. You were formed first. You should be more mature. There was something else going on, because as he goes on into verse 15, and Adam was not deceived. Adam wasn't deceived. But the woman being deceived fell into transgression. Now I want us to get this verse and understand. The Apostle Paul is not criticizing Eve because she was deceived. He is actually giving a criticism of Adam, who was not deceived. Means when he ate, when he was engaged in this process, it wasn't because of deception. There was something more substantive and even more wrong that was happening. Adam did it without being deceived. He did it knowingly. Now, we don't see all of the picture necessarily in Genesis, but the Apostle Paul says Adam wasn't deceived. Eve was. So because the man in the beginning wasn't deceived, but he was created first and should have been setting the example, he says, husbands, you go first. You be the head. You set the example. You do what's right. Don't follow in the footsteps of the first Adam. Follow in the footsteps of Jesus, the last Adam, who shows you the way to go, which is to be the right leader, to set the example. Pardon me. That is why he gives this address, this instruction: be the head, be the leader, be first. Don't be like your father Adam in the garden. Be like your elder brother Jesus, the last Adam.